All right, let's take a look at Jonathan Taylor out of Wisconsin. One of the things you're going to notice right away is this is not a guy that you can just reach and hold on to. You can get your arm across him like that. No way. It's going to pull through multiple reaches. You're going to have to wrap this guy up and hold on to be able to bring him to the ground. And you can see game to game, week to week, he's going to pull through multiple reaches. There's one. Here's another. There's another where he stiff arms through. He's able to get yards through contact. Right there. Still gets another 3 to 4 after that contact. And you can see he starts of pushing the pile. Get this guy downhill. And even through a smaller crease, he's going to be able to sift his way through, lower the pads against 2 defensive players, a linebacker and a defensive back. And even with a minor amount of assistance, he's going to be able to stay on his feet and push a pile, wait for that help to come, and turn this into a play where he gets another 5 to 7 yards after that initial contact. Just being able to stay on your feet and twist and turn through wraps shows strength, good balance, choppy little footwork, and that helps teammates arrive at the scene to be able to generate a scrum. Here's another example of Taylor pushing the pile here as he works into that second level. Nice low pad level. Here's 2 defenders on him, nobody to help just yet. And then you now get that scrum with 2 Wisconsin linemen. You have about 3 or 4 Michigan defenders here. And just look at him stay upward. I mean, just to be able to stay upright like that until his teammates can fully generate a push. And he never loses his balance. That's a quality that you often see with a back like Nick Chubb. Chris Carson is another guy who can often get yards after contact as a result of that and be able to stay upright in a pile. Here's another example of Taylor being able to work through multiple hits and being able to push that pile in addition to that. Again, stiff arm, hit from the side, hit from up front, another wrap, another hit. And you can see that he's kind of getting ping-ponged around in this tight space and never loses his footing until the very end. First hit, second hit, third hit, fourth hit. Still upright. That's going to be helpful in a power running game. Why else is the pile pushing aspect of Taylor's game valuable? Well, what happens when the gaps are filled and he's met into a crease right here in the backfield and he's hit and wrapped? Well, if you can stay upright and you can just get a little bit of movement going, your teammates can turn in, see that this is what's happening, start the scrum, and turn this loss into a first down and a gain of really about 3 times more than what you needed on the play. So sometimes tight crease plays can really be beneficial even when the back stopped early because of his ability to stay on his feet and allow help to generate the first down for him, or with him at least. And this is a vital play. You know, you can talk about, not having a crease all you want, but the second effort here, and then the ability to help his teammates provide a second effort, this is valuable in short yardage. It's valuable in a lot of situations. Up to this point, we've seen, in terms of pile pushing, Taylor dealing with linebackers and defensive backs. But even the defensive end here for Central Michigan, being able to get outside and then down the line and deliver this hit, that's a pretty hard hit high up. This is generally going to earhole a lot of running backs and send them to the ground. But Taylor is able to maintain his balance and work through that wrap and then force a second hit that he can still move forward and get some yardage here. So what you're seeing is a back who's very strong and runs with pretty good stability. you know, with that body lean that you're looking for, strong enough legs that even with a nice bend and stance, when he's hit high by a first level defender, he can work through that and then be able to get downhill. Although not a productive play, here's a good example of balance in the backfield here, where he has to make a quick cut, lift his knees up pretty high through that reach by the defensive back or linebacker here. I mean, look at that shot right in the backfield, and he's still be able to work through it, and it is the linebacker. Be able to get that foot up and kind of kick it the opposite foot upward as well, which is something that I've seen Nick Chubb do in the past, where you see a little bit of flexibility where one lands, the other foot's high up here. And when you have that kind of maneuverability, that kind of flexibility that Zach Moss has, Nick Chubb has, Chris Carson has, allows you to maintain balance in situations that are difficult. And this is a difficult one, where you're hit from an indirect angle by a bigger man, and it forces you have to kick up at an odd angle like that and then stay balanced and be able to get downhill and at least stalemate an oncoming defender from the box. That's an impressive display of maneuverability and flex. And let's look at the caliber of contact too, not just who it's being delivered by, not whether it's, you know, a larger defender, but look at the safety deliver this head-on contact with pretty good momentum in front of him and with some violence. And you see that Taylor's able to kick that leg out, be able to stay low and lean across, be able to slide off a little bit until backside pursuit's also able to hit him and knock him forward. But you can see that this isn't someone that goes down easy on first contact, even when it's hard contact and reshapes his body. Really nice sign of balance. In addition to strength and balance and after contact skill, you also see some shiftiness out of his game. Look at that. Being able to shift in multiple directions behind the line of scrimmage, that little choppy pace, feel the penetration coming up the middle inside 68, kind of make a little, you know, pressure cut to the outside, then slide back to the inside and be able to earn 4 yards on this play. And it's really out of two little hops. First one right there, little pressure cut, and then plant and go downhill. Here's another example of Taylor's shiftiness. Pistol set, it's a nice crease, nice little plant in succession. Here's the one inside right there to get away from the defensive back, and then another one to get rid of the cornerback in succession. Here's the first. There's the second. You can see he sets him up well. Nice little three-step move, juke to the inside. So the shiftiness between the, you know, in the second level as well as behind the line of scrimmage is definitely there in his game. This has a little bit of that Le'Veon Bell kind of peekaboo shiftiness style, where you kind of bide your time behind the tackles and then work into that open space. So it's a really nice display of patience with the footwork here. You're going to watch the puller here on this trap, or it looks like it's more of a power play. Works to that inside shoulder, reads the two defenders here, slides to that outside, then back inside, so that 68's able to pick up the block. A lot of this delay is so that 68 can get a block here. So a little inside out, back in, pulls through a reach, stiff arm on the defensive back, continue to work forward through contact, pads low, head up, legs driving. But it's that quickness and confidence in his feet to be able to set up 68, who's pulling and gets caught up early behind the line of scrimmage, and does enough to help 68 reach his block. And when you can combine that shiftiness with pad level, you get a really dangerous runner at the first and second level, especially in short yardage. And that's what you see here with Taylor on this touchdown. Kind of slides outside. See that low pad level? See how flat that back is? The helmet's up, works through number 17, and just drives through. So even that linebacker right here with the hit, no chance. There's the helmet. Heads up just enough to be able to drag that defender through. Once you get Taylor into the open field, he also has some nice movement. Here's the spin against the defensive back. That helps him earn, another 25 yards on this particular play. You're noticing a lot of these runs where it's a lead fullback. You're not going to see a lot of that in the NFL. Certainly Leonard Fournette has gotten that early in his career. Chris Carson's had a chance to work in that capacity. There are teams that would like to use fullbacks, and if they do use them, Taylor could be that back who could really benefit from a team that wants to go with a fullback, and he can help that team out a lot. But even at the second level here, and he's going to be able to get to the second level without a fullback, just the quickness of that spin, ability to anticipate the defender working across here, it's well done. And you can see even here, there's some examples of that acceleration through some traffic. Because here's number 8 with an angle, and he holds off number 8's angle and really beats him. Or comes very close for another 5, 10, 15, 20 yards. The biggest questions that we're going to hear about Taylor are about his speed. Let's separate speed from burst, okay? Burst is more of a short area thing. And you can see here, there's enough burst from Taylor to get around the corner on a long corner play. If he was running to the right here, this would be a short corner situation. In some cases, depending on the angles of the defenders here, it requires more burst to work around the short corner than it does the long corner. Long corner, it's kind of a combination of both burst and then longer speed in action here. You can see he's able to beat a linebacker, it looks like here, a linebacker and a defensive back, cornerback and a linebacker, it looks like, to work around that corner. And the fact that he can beat a cornerback to that long edge is an indication that he has the acceleration and the speed that you're looking for out of a starting running back, even if it's not elite tier. All right, so Jay Moyer showed this play on Twitter, fellow RSP writer here, and you're going to see, work power to the outside. Defensive back number 24 is unable to catch him, the safety. He's able to work, for about over half the field here for a 72-yard touchdown run. Now, is that a good example of long speed? It's a pretty darn good example, okay? Because to me, it's about who you can outrun. Can you outrun the first level? Absolutely, he has no problem. Can he outrun the second level? We've seen him be able to do that. But then when he has defenders in the third level who are unblocked and who have an angle on him, can he defeat those angles? Can he defeat the angles of cornerbacks and safeties? And from what you can see here, he does so against cornerbacks and safeties. And, these guys may not be, pro-level cornerbacks in terms of speed and quickness. That's the thing that you're going to have to determine maybe from combine times, other workout times that these defensive backs may have. But the fact that he can beat the angle of a safety, to, up the field for over 50 yards, over 40 yards really, should indicate that he has enough speed on an NFL level to at least threaten the secondary and hold off defenders in the secondary, at least short term. And what I mean is, if it's cornerbacks, that's a different story. If a cornerback has an angle and he can hold off that angle on the cornerback, that's impressive. There's no cornerbacks here who really have angles on him in this particular play. So as a result of that, you're really looking at safeties who might have about as much speed as some NFL linebackers, while there's some impressiveness to the athletic ability. It's not really a complete picture of his speed at this point. To me, elite speed is not only beating safeties, but also beating cornerbacks who have angles. And he doesn't show that on this play because the cornerbacks were well behind. And you're going to see here, this cornerback's pretty well behind. And I'd also have questions about, I want to see cornerbacks that have known speed before I judge Taylor fully on a run like this from that end. What matters more to me about Taylor's game than speed is his ability to get some burst out of his cuts. That's a really nice cut with good quickness, coming from an east-west direction to a downhill direction. And he leaves the pursuit of the linebacker basically in the dust. And that extends this play really well. And you see a little bit of a gather step. Here's the gather step coming right there, and then the cut downhill. But it's very smooth. A back like O.J. Simpson, who was very good at being able to work outside and then downhill. And I know that a lot of you, that predates you a great deal, and all you can think of is, what happened to O.J. Simpson off the field. But that's very smooth. Eric Dickerson was a back also, who may predate many of you, but also very smooth in being able to work east, west, north, south, and be able to do it with a little gather, and then a nice point to the toe, open the hips, cut downhill, burst through that cut. Taylor, what he shares is the ability to burst through cuts like that with some good quickness. And you also want to see hard cuts out of a back, where can he work from an east-west, sideline to sideline position, then plant the foot in the ground and get downhill. And he does this extremely well against, the outside linebacker here. Build the ability to bend, kind of sit in that chair, bend at the knees, point that toe, and just open the hips and get downhill. Good quickness, good suddenness in terms of that sudden change, flip of the hips. Good stuff. I think this is a better representation of about Taylor's burst and long speed. Now, this is only, this is a play that's only going to cover about 37 yards. But what I love about it is watch the stop-start movements. 2 stop-start movements, a dip inside, and then back outside. And he outruns much of the field here. So that little stop there, and then a nice dip inside of the oncoming defender, and then gets upfield. And you have 3 defenders who had somewhat of an angle on him, and he's able to beat them to the corner. Now, who are these defenders? You've got number 9, looks like a safety here, or a backside corner. Looks like you have maybe number 8, who looks like he's an outside linebacker. So number 1, he's going to beat the outside linebacker pretty easily. But then you have 2 defensive backs here. Defensive back there misses the angle completely. And then you have the backside defensive back. It looks like a safety here. but both safeties miss their angles pretty pretty badly. And at best, he's able to beat a defensive back. Or a cornerback, excuse me. And so with some of that stop-start movement to be able to re-accelerate and beat multiple members of the secondary, as well as a linebacker right here who seems to have an angle. Defensive back who seems to have the angle and loses it quickly, realizes he misjudged the angle he should take. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's fast enough. Again, here's another play with a safety. You're going to see the safety working up on the hash here. He's going to read, the action going on the opposite sideline. And again, he cannot get an angle. So number 8, when you look at this particular play, in fact, that wasn't a backside safety. Number 8 was a linebacker. So what we're seeing here is linebackers not being able to keep up with him. Sometimes safeties not being able to keep up with him. Occasionally, a cornerback. But to me, elite speed is being able to beat the angles of quality cornerbacks with good speed. What we've seen thus far is mostly safeties and linebackers. Still good, starter caliber quality in terms of long speed, because really if you're able to break 30-40 yard runs on what we would say percentage wise is a consistent basis, you're a starting caliber athlete at the running back position. Would it be nice to be able to beat cornerbacks and be a high-end speed threat? Sure, absolutely. But that's not, while that's not elite, it certainly is good enough to be a starter. So here's a play where Taylor beats number 9 here, cornerback, flat-footed. But you can see that because number 9's flat-footed, it's hard to really say, oh, he's going to consistently beat cornerback angles. Because first he's running inside, flat-footed, caught flat-footed, now has to re-accelerate, and Taylor's already accelerating. So it's not really fair to say he beat a cornerback on this particular play and that he has the speed to outrun good angles, because this wasn't a good angle. Say what you will about the receiving game for running backs at Wisconsin. Taylor does show good hand-eye coordination. On this open route here, watch him extend, high point the ball, arms away from his frame, feet on the ground. He doesn't leap unnecessarily. These are good signs that someone has a good understanding of where the ball's arriving, not overreacting physically to try and extend for the ball. You can extend for it without having to lose control of his frame. Pluck that ball back in, tuck it in, get the first down on the play. Gets his head around quickly on the play, tracks it into his hands, good fingertip catch. That's really nice. Here's another nice adjustment on a lower throw at belt level at the back hip, where he has to turn away from the momentum of his break, make the catch with his hands away from his frame, and then turns upfield and is able to get the first down on the play. This is very fluid, especially with the defender trailing him, and he can see the flash of that defender as he turns back for the ball. So again, good hand-eye coordination, good body control, good ball tracking, good use of the hand position he needs to make this play. Here's a route curling out of the backfield here. He's going to catch it in front of his frame. Oncoming defender, no problem. Doesn't let the oncoming defender distract him at all. Good use of his hands, tucks it away quickly. Very close to a first down. So going back to the pile pushing and power, one of the downsides of having a back who's so good being able to stay upright and fight through contact is that he's often prone to getting stripped. And so it's very important that as he changes direction and tries to fight through hits and wraps, that he can keep his elbow tight, ball up to his chest, because if he doesn't, it's going to squirt loose like it does here. And gets picked up and a first down, in Wisconsin territory. Probably the biggest struggle for Jonathan Taylor is pass pro. You're going to see him pick up the correct man who's going to work this twist tackle end, and as the end work inside. And you see Taylor meet the man, but see how his head's low, his body's out in front of his legs. He's overextending. He doesn't use his hands well. Defender's able to work inside of that, and if not for an interior lineman, there's going to be pressure on that quarterback from the end that Taylor gives up. So Taylor's going to have to work on his blocking. He doesn't always deliver the punch that you're looking for, certainly overextends on a lot of plays. When he can help out another blocker, he's average to middling at best. But he's going to really have to improve his blocking. Right now, he's a 2-down back who can catch the ball in the backfield on checkdowns with some promise. In terms of route running, that's a different story. But you can see the power. You can see the burst. In terms of speed, again, is he really as fast as it looks here? Who is 23? We'll watch that one more time here. 23 is a cornerback. Cornerback who basically makes up an angle right here and gets stiff-armed and then has to slow down as a result of that. I would say that Jonathan Taylor isn't quite Nick Chubb speed. Nick Chubb beats cornerbacks fairly regularly, has even better burst than what you're seeing out of Taylor, I bet. But I'd say Jonathan Taylor's a lot like Chris Carson, another physical back who can cut, who can change direction, who can push a pile, who can catch the football, and who can flip the field and be able to earn big gains. So those are my thoughts on Jonathan Taylor. Certainly a good back who can make an impact right away as long as he's not asked to pass protect or if he can make improvements immediately. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, and my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.